Sai Ram. In the last Parayanam session, I had mentioned about a very important event in my life, which was how Bhagwan gave me back my vision. It was at the end of this, towards the end of the session, I had mentioned that Swami said, "Be careful next time." I shuddered at the very thought that there would be a next time, because an experience like this is enough for a number of lifetimes, forget one lifetime. But I knew that this was a warning about some impending disaster in the future. Swami had told me, go to Bangalore, get yourself a pair of spectacles and always wear them when you're working in the lab. And so I went to Bangalore, got myself a pair of spectacles and very carefully, very sincerely wore it whenever I was working in the lab. And this went on. I was nearing the end of my PhD. In fact, it was the phase where I was rechecking some results before presenting it to a panel which would say whether this work was enough, and then I could start typing my thesis. It was at this time that suddenly my spectacle fell down and broke. And even as it broke, I was very, very conscious of the fact. I remembered this, that Swami had told, be careful next time, so I should be very careful. But the experiment which I was doing was such that I could not pause the experiment. What I had started, I had to continue. If I stopped the experiment or even paused it for a day or two, then I would lose time and my submission of the thesis would get delayed by 2 to 3 months, which would mean that I would not get my PhD that year from Bhagwan's hands. So all this was playing on my mind, and in front of me was a flask, and I had put some chromic acid. And as I was watching it, I noticed that it was not coming down. So I reached out for a vacuum pump, which had just come the previous day from Japan. And I thought that I would connect this vacuum pump and see if something happened. And I connected the vacuum pump. Nothing happened for almost maybe 45 seconds. Then curiosity got the better of me, and I went close to it to observe what was happening. Remember, this was after the specs had fallen down and broken, and so literally it was a naked eye watching the contents of the flask. And it was at this time that the whole thing imploded and chromic acid fell into my eyes. And even as that chromic acid was streaming down my face and falling on my shirt, it was making holes everywhere. And luckily, there were people around. They took me to the nearest tap. Water was there, and we started washing, and copious amounts of water was used. And even as the washing was done, I felt fine. But the moment the washing was stopped, it would start burning terribly. And all this time, I told myself, why was I so stupid? Why did I not take care? Swami had told me, so careful, be careful. So Swami had told so clearly, be careful next time. And I had made the next time happen. And so again, I found that I could not see. And there was this student who said he would take me to the hospital. After watching for 45 minutes, when we found no relief, I accompanied him to the general hospital. This time when we went there, the eye doctor was there. And this boy briefly explained to her what had happened. And she examined my eyes and then held the boy who came with me and took him to the next room. I became conscious of this because till then he was holding my hand, and then he left my hand and slowly went away. I could hear his steps, and it was at that time I realized how acute the other senses become when you lose one sense. And the doctor took him to the next room, and they had a very quiet discussion in whispers. And when this boy came back to me, I asked him, what did the doctor say? And he said, the doctor said that everything is fine. I said, no, everything cannot be fine, because if everything was fine, it would not burn like this. And then he said, look, the doctor examined your eye, and this is what she said. Then I used a trump card. I told him, look, in the evening when we go for darshan, Swami is definitely going to ask, what did the doctor say? Did you show it to the doctor? And I have to tell him the correct report, so better tell me what the doctor said. And then the doctor said, there's nothing left there, but it's better you take him to Bangalore and let one more doctor or a couple of doctors examine him, and then gently break this news, let him not go into a depression. So this is what she said. And so I was seated in the mandir portico, my eyes bandaged, and evening Swami came out for darshan. Afternoon Swami came out for darshan, and Swami turned towards the ladies' side, I think. But quickly I heard footsteps coming towards me, Swami's footsteps, gentle but fast. And along with it, in a concerned voice, Emaindi, what happened? And then Swami said, I told you to be careful, careless boy, he said. I told you to be careful. And then at that moment I really felt sad. I had disobeyed Swami. Swami had warned me to be careful, but here I was careless. All along as I was sitting in the mandir, I wondered whether it was my destiny to be blind. Is it that Swami had just postponed the entire thing to give me a chance? And this is where I realized, if you obey the Lord, automatically such disasters pass by you without even touching you. But anyway, Swami came. Then very sweetly Swami held my hand, and into my cupped hands he poured some materialized vibhuti. And in a very gentle and sweet voice, Swami said, Ravi, eat this and you will be fine. Hearing those words from Swami's lips meant so much to me, because I knew that just if that word came from Swami's lips, it would just happen. And then Swami said, go to the hospital tomorrow and get your dressing changed. So the next morning I went to the hospital, and as the bandage was being removed, I could see the doctor, I could see the room. But the doctor examined my eyes. She took me inside and outside 3-4 times. And then she wiped a sweat off her brow and said, I think I have to get my eyes tested. And then I asked her what happened. She said, yesterday there was nothing and today your eyes are fine. And then I narrated to her what had happened the previous afternoon. And so that is how I got back my eyes for the second time. So this is something that is very, very precious for me, this incident. And this, as someone very beautifully said, Swami took away your sight but gave you a vision. It made me realize what Swami truly is and what he means to me. An ordinary mother can stand by your side, wringing her hands and praying to the Almighty to cure you, but it's the Supreme Mother who can not only talk to you sweetly, but also reverse the entire situation and make you get back your eyesight. When someone drops a handkerchief and a passerby picks it up and gives it in his hands, he says thank you. But what do you tell in terms of thank you to someone who has given you back your eyesight, your precious eyesight, has given you back your independence, has given you back the ability to see this beautiful world created by himself? What do you tell someone whose form is so beautiful that not seeing that form would be the greatest misfortune that comes by one? So I was so thrilled and so happy, because went and had Swami's Namaskar in the evening, and my life continued afterwards like this, full of joy and full of love for Swami. There were many occasions when I have narrated this incident in front of Swami. In fact, Swami would sometimes ask me to narrate this, and I remember one particular instant which is very, very revealing. It was a Dasara function, and somewhere towards the end of the 90s, and as I had gone there to speak. It was a Navami day, and the Sai Kulwant hall was overflowing with devotees. When I went to take Namaskar before my speech, Swami just looked at me and asked, "What are you going to speak today?" I told Swami, whatever Swami commands, whatever Swami instructs me, I will speak. Then Swami said, "Speak about your eye accident." So that day I spoke about this, and at the end of my speech, of course, there was one more speaker, and then Swami's discourse was there. And after the Aarti, Swami left Sai Kulwant Hall. It was then that one of the alumni came and told me, my boss wants to speak to you. And so I said, "Yeah, please call him, I will speak to him." And when he came, that gentleman held me by the hand very tightly, and he said, "You don't know what you have done to my life today. You don't know what you have done to my life today." And he repeated this 4 or 5 times. I told him with a smile, "Of course I don't know what I have done to your life today." And I thought that was the end of the whole thing. And he thanked me and he left. Many, many years later, almost a decade and a couple of years later, this gentleman came to Vrindavan as a visiting professor. And he came straight to me and said, "You remember after one Dasara, when you spoke, someone came and told you that you don't know what you have done to my life today." I said, "Yeah, my hands are still smarting from that hold that person gave." And then he said, "I am that person." Okay. And then he said, it was he narrated what had happened. He himself had an eye accident some time back, and the doctors had done some operation, and he had given up hope. He was not able to see, and he went to the doctor, who examined him and said, "See, I have done everything possible clinically, but only Sai Baba can help." And so he said, "Which Sai Baba?" And he said, "Puttaparthi Sai Baba." So he called a friend of his and said, "See, I want to go and visit him." So the long and short of it is, he landed at Puttaparthi. He thought that he could just walk up to Swami and speak to him. But when he sat in that hall, or when he entered that hall, Sai Kulwant Hall, he found that there were tens of thousands of people seated there, and Swami was dot far away. And even as he sat down, someone announced that Dr. Ravikumar, will be speaking today. And I narrated this incident. And his neighbor who had brought him said, if this incident is being narrated in Swami's presence, it means that there is hope for your eyes also. And that was the reason why this gentleman had come and told me. He said he got renewed hope and he went and asked the doctor to do whatever was necessary, which they had kept in they had suspended because they were not sure of the result. And today he is able to see. And so this is what happened in that incident. Many times people repeat this incident, but they repeat it with much more, they add masala here and there and repeat it. And that's why I was very concerned, because someone rang me up and asked, sir, what is that special acid which fell into your eye? There was this gentleman who told me that you lost your eye, and this acid is 100 times more powerful than concentrated sulfuric acid, something like this, and all they asked. And so this was in my mind when one day Professor G. Venkatraman of Radio Sai told me, it is so important for you to write a first-person account of this, Ravikumar, because for the future, this is very, very important. I realized that I had to do it, but I thought I would do it only after securing Swami's permission. One Deepavali day, somewhere in 2006 or 7, Swami came in my dream early morning and said, you write that article. Actually, and there was an institute publication which was coming, and so I knew that Swami was referring to this, and I also remembered the eye accident. And so I thought Swami was telling me to write this, and Swami said, what is the name you will give for that article? I said, Swami, I have not even thought of writing this, so I didn't think of a title. And then Swami said, Daniki Chaksho, Suryo, Ajayatha and Perpettu. Call it as Chaksho, Suryo, Ajayatha. Then he asked me, do you know what it means? I said, Swami, this is from the Purusha Suktam, where Chandama Manaso Jataha Chaksho Suryo Ajayatha. It's a phrase which comes. And Swami said, I didn't ask you where this is found. I asked you what is the meaning. What does Chakshu mean? Chakshu means eye, Swami. Surya, Swami asked. Then I said Aditya, Bhanu, Tejasvi, and whatever names I could, whatever equivalents I could remember. When I had exhausted my list, Swami smiled at me and in the dream and said, it also means Ravi. And then he said, Chaksho Surya Ajayatha means how Ravi got back his eyesight. So give this as the title for the article. And in fact, recently, at Swami's birthday, just a week before Swami's birthday, I got this book, Blessed by Swami, a book of my experiences. The name of that is Chaksho Suryo Ajayatha. I'll talk more about the experiences in the Parayanam sessions to come. Sai Ram.